DGNRadio, trenches on the radio. Radio, 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 radio. DGNRadio, trenches on the radio. Radio, 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 radio. Yo, static hits like a corner store prophet. Spitting truth through the speaker, no profit. 92 BPM, knocking boots on the concrete. Why the feds trace signals they can't delete. Horn snap cut, that's the truth in the cut. Crypto flickering green while the world's on shut. Ain't no playlist, this a frequency war. Tune in or vanish like cash through a door. DGNRadio, stretches on the radio. Radio, 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 radio. Stretches on the radio, stretches on the radio. Radio, 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 radio. DGNRadio, stretches on the radio. Radio, 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 radio. Stretches on the radio, stretches on the radio. Radio, 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 radio. Stretches on the radio, stretches on the 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 radio.
Hello, guys, and welcome to the Beans Bulletin. I'm your host, Shane Burkett, and this is a brilliant show for you today. We've got a whole host of amazing projects, as well as, you know, we've got oh, sorry, my computer's just gone off. Yeah, we've got today's sponsor, which is Capybara, and we're also followed by another group of projects, VETT, Pissin, Ryft, Seddle and Chicken. These projects all offer something very different, but I'll tell you something that they've all got in common. They're all trustworthy devs as well as trustworthy projects. These are three aspects that the show tries to bring you. It's the trustworthy, also the visibility, and also the mass wide range visibility in the space as well, which is most important. Without these, you know, we wouldn't have anything. For so long, people are situated in such wide areas within the space. You know, we see the numbers on X dropping because people are opting for different areas like Arena. You know, some people are even going to Farcaster, and it's not good. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to merge all the different social platforms into one. And we're able to do this via StreamYard, where we can connect up to 8 different social platforms all at the same time, as well as live radio, which we can put on loop and broadcast out, you know, for a duration of time up until the next show, which I think is immense. You know, nowhere else offers that. The networking aspect is also really important. With all these projects off the back end, they all remain in contact with each other, which is great, because what that means is sharing of utility and also support. You know, not all people have that support in the space, so being able to bring people together to offer help, speed up the process of builds, yeah, it's truly remarkable. So I just want to get straight into it. Capybara, who's going to talk first? Is it you talk?
There we go. I'm here. Yep. So we were just going to kind of take we both have a little bit to talk about. I'll get started. Actually co-deving the project. We have an incredible team. We're always here backing up each other. So when one of us can't be present, someone else steps in, and that's Jay tonight for the team. So he is actually one of the people that is helping build Cappy tools in the background with one of our other members, Dave. He drove recently from Texas all the way to Kentucky. So our team is getting closer to each other. So we have some pretty bullish things going on, and I'll let him explain to you a little bit about that. Jay?
Yeah, so with our experience deving projects and releasing tokens, we've sort of encountered like a number of problems, especially with like pump fund changes with the creator rewards. It's just not efficient or cost effective to run any sort of proper developer tools. So that's what we're trying to bring to the table. Is a utility with our coin. At first, it's going to show up, in testing on our own chart. And when we get it dialed in and stress tested, we're going to start releasing it to make it available for other projects.
Very affordable. So this is something that's going to be very affordable. Like anybody that's running a project knows how expensive it is. I'm sure anybody that's doing it can attest. Like it's so like if we can get some sort of volume bot and some other tools and get them out to devs at say 2 Sol, and you can run all these for 2 Sol on your project, you're saving an exponential amount of money in marketing, and it's making your project look more viable to the market out there, which we know is volatile. So that's our goal, to help our project show proof of work and then be able to get it out to other devs that want to launch new projects and have a better chance of success using it.
It's just kind of like just currently looking through your website. In regards to the bots, how much have you got these kind of built already, or is this in the process currently?
Yeah, we're making some small adjustments to them. Like we have them sort of layered, so you can easily manipulate like the effect that it physically has on your chart. They're sort of plugged in with like a modular form, so we can clone the bot and then change some of the metrics to produce different results, but keeping it efficient.
Yeah, so you can basically meet the requirements of any project who want to use it for slightly different purposes, correct?
Yeah, I think if they know what they want to achieve, the adjustments can be made.
Right. And there's other tools going to be built in as well, right, Jack? Is there some other stuff? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to kind of expand on that, or is that kind of kept under wraps at the current moment?
No, it's just I don't like to say too much because we don't like to be confined into a box, especially when we're trying to like build something. We'd rather under promise and over deliver.
100%. Yes.
That's definitely what's going to happen. Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to melt faces, and then the chart will follow.
So I've got a question in regards to the volume bot, for instance. Because obviously people know me from my time in the space, actually being part of a project that had a really successful volume bot.
Mm-hmm.
What is the amount of volume it can produce, and what's the duration of time that this volume bot can last for?
That's part of the thing that we're stress testing right now, but the way it's set up is pretty slick. So I don't know, it's pretty good efficiency. We're just testing it at scale and various market conditions, because that has a great effect on the tech, really. And it's not something that we can control per se. So like, I just want to make sure it gets smoke tested at various times of like market congestion and stuff like that, because we have some good integrations.
No, I appreciate it, and I think you do right to take your time in terms of testing it in different conditions, 100%.
Right.
Which, like, we're obviously as a project with the show following you on this journey. So, I mean, down the line, we're going to see the results of this regardless, and if people tune in, in the next week, month, or whatever, it's going to be interesting to see the results on that. And just for the other projects that are in here, or anybody else who's listening, because this will be open for, you know, the individual probably to use within their projects.
Yeah, our
as well.
Our goal with it, even with the reduced, because it used to be very advantageous. Pump Fund pretty much encouraged everyone to run a volume bot on their launch, but when you're getting 0.95% creator fees, you might actually make some money if you catch the right bot at the right time. But now at 0.3%, it's just a losing game. So what we're trying to do is at least, the very least, make it a break even between creator fees and the efficiency. So you could pretty much run a volume bot for almost for free. You know, there's always going to be some sort of slippage, but
yeah. And was that the main reason why you decided to launch on Pump, was with having the benefit of the creator fees? Was that a massive like factor in your decision?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think it's just the overall volume. Like, I think Bags may have flipped Pump Funds for like one day, and Pump Fund got scared, and then they, you know, do what they always do and crime something, which turned out to be like Penguin at the time, to bring back all the volume back to their platform. And they're slowly making all these integrations that bring more money to their pockets and less money to the developers. So we're trying to just even it out, so we're still making something, because when you dev a project, you can't be expected to not make any money and just take a bunch of losses. There's sort of like a skewed opinion of what devs should do in the space. So we're just trying to make it a little bit more fair for the people that are actually creating the projects.
We've heard a lot from devs, if you talk to them, how much money they've lost, and they feel so convicted in their project, and they just trying to find the revenue to continue their project, which is something that your project is also going to help with, which we're very excited about. So I'm not even going to bring that out. That's all for you, but we're excited to be a part of that, a part of your journey. And also be able to try to offer things to devs to keep, you know, because everybody knows that volume is what a lot of people look at when we don't, but we've also been in crypto a lot longer than some of the people that are coming in new. And the first thing they do when they look at a chart, oh my God, it has no volume. You know, whether it's a good project or not, some people won't even go in and look at it or give it a chance just because there's no volume on the chart.
Yeah. It's unfortunately a necessary evil in the space, you know, kind of similar to a KOL. Like, you need eyes on your project, and not very many people are willing to do that for free. It's an attention market, and volume certainly will get you attention. And if you combine it with some other little things, like a Dex boost or something, a small one, then it might also very well help you hit the trending there too. So,
well, from my experience in terms of boosts, I've always tried to keep away from them, because they've never actually done what they're supposed to do for the amount of money that you pay.
Exactly.
I almost think, like, don't get kind of caught up into that at all. And there is actually nothing wrong with moving slowly. And this is where people get caught up and they get hooked on it. Like, there might not be a lot of movement, but at least you've got the people within the community that you want to have in the community, and it's a slow build. I said it in the last space, and I'll say it now, because obviously we've got a different audience here. But so many times devs think that they're perhaps doing something wrong, or they should be doing, like, delivering more so quickly because of how quiet a community is, or, you know, because they're not getting much traction. But that's not, honestly, it's not the truth at all. It's just because of the position we're in it as a space as a whole. You know, people just constantly looking for the next shiny thing, but that's just that's the facts. Like you don't want them people in your community anyways. If they're so easy to leave to follow the next shiny thing, let them go away and try and do that. But 99% of them, they get bugged, so they've lost their position in their project that that are constantly building and grinding, and then they'll come back with the tail between their legs. Let that happen. But like I say, it's never anything wrong with the devs at the top of these projects most of the time, as long as the grinding. That's all you can do, and never rush anything, because the more you rush, the more mistakes you make. And
yeah, and we're trying. We're trying to make connections with other communities as well. Like we love Pissin. We got them on your show. We wanted to, incorporate with them some, and we're in each other's VCs all the time. We also just got sponsored for a poker game, which was amazing. Someone heard us and loved our project and sponsored us. Diego and Aaron sponsored us into a Solana poker game, which was a really good bonding opportunity for our community and some other members to people that hadn't seen us before on their platform. So that was fun too.
Yeah, you shared the show with well, it wasn't actually Diego, it was Paul on the last show from Play. So that was great that you were both in prior to that event, and I'm glad you really had a good experience of that, because they're a great group of people over there.
Yeah, we did. And our members, which was really cool because they were on your last show, they got to hear all about the platform before they got into it and what it was all about. So that was actually like serendipity. Perfect timing. Right? Yeah.
That's why we do it as a visual, because we can have a deep dive and for the the viewers to kind of look and watch. So I'm glad you said that, because it's one of the main reasons why we do this. I'm just wanting to get some feedback off some of the other projects, if possible. Chicken, have you got any feedback you'd like to give?
Yeah, no, it seems to be that, from my understanding, that the model here is attention first, and then hopefully getting, people to understand the project. And that could work if the project is strong enough to hold people once they arrive, right? Because, people are spending money and anticipate results. Not everybody always has the structure around, seeing everything through, right? So to me, the bet is that you can manufacture enough initial visibility, and the market will finally give any project a chance to be evaluated. So I think that's great if the goal here is to help the devs, right, from what they talked about with the fees and everything. So attention engineering is what everybody's trying to figure out how to monetize and make it more efficient without having to spend money, like you said, on KOLs and even the boosts and everything, right? Like what I've experienced in my time in crypto is that they'll bring people in, but most of those people just cheat, right? People that are looking for volume, right? They're in and out, and sometimes that's the caveat, right? It's do you want the volume, or do you want people to, because that could have a bad effect on the chart, right? Seeing such a big dip and causing that momentum. So it's a problem that, if you guys are solving, has a lot of value. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've been down that road with some partnerships and stuff, and saw our chart hit 130K like in seconds, and then just go all the way back down to 17. So we've been on the roller coaster. So we understand that completely.
In my community, like in the beginning, this is how you conviction, right? And you build conviction within your team and in the market, and the community will build around that. And then after that, you'll get crime. We call it the 3 C's. But yeah, these are the things that test teams, right? And ultimately, you want people to invest in a team.
Yeah.
Technology changes, right? But if this model, the system follows, hey, let's just get this attention in first, and then show people that we're actually building a sustainable project. Then after that, the value was shown, and that it's like, hey, this isn't something long term, right? This is when you want to use it, when you have something you want to deliver, and you want that attention because you know that it's going to compound into sustainable growth.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, Chicken. Good bit of feedback there and advice as well. Jordan, have you got anything you want to add?
I mean, yeah, no, I fit and align with, the same principles of, trying to find ways to solve problems in this industry, especially for making sure that we have more conviction, that we support the teams that are really here building for the right reasons. That we're not just looking to signal because, that's what everyone is following, right? Just kind of like with talking about, the massive amount of volume on certain tokens. I mean, I'll say, like, in my experience here in the space full time for the last 5 years, most of the tokens that have had insanely high volume are completely dead, right? They're completely dead because it wasn't organic. It was mass manipulation, which is sometimes what I call MMs anyway. Mass manipulation markets. But yeah, no, I'm curious to see, how you can, help to create better environments for that movement of the volume, the different liquidity mechanisms. I mean, there is a better way, and so that's kind of a big thing that we focus on here at Ryft is
Right.
how do we look at other paradigms of how to shift that, how to shift value, how to move value. And so I think, I think you guys are on to something. I mean, it's difficult, right? It's difficult because you have so many different projects that are trying to vie for attention. And so you got to figure out, the best way to, kind of break through that noise and deliver something that's valuable, that many people want to use. And, I mean, we've been through that whole entire process over the last 2 years, trying to figure out what that means and where that is. And we've definitely landed on it now, but it takes time and it takes grit, it takes conviction, it takes never giving up. And, it seems like you're the type of team that, has that mentality. So, that's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, our community and team is amazing. We're having another lock liquidity party coming up this week as well. So we had almost 17% locked, and some of our members have spoke up that they would like to lock additional tokens. So our goal is to get up to like 2025, just to give some more security behind, people coming into the token as well. So we definitely are working on other things in the background.
I just want to say to all the viewers out there, make sure you go and check the socials out of Capybara. Join the Telegram, get a feel for the vibe in the community. Also, give them a follow on X. And like I say, these devs in this group, reach out to them off the back end if you want to discuss anything further. If you need any support, just reach out, guys. You're not alone in the space. We're all here to support one another. And we'll catch up with Capybara again on the back end of the show, if that's all right. And we'll just move over to the next project. So thank you, Talk, and thank you, Jay.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shane.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Yeah, so the next project I want to get up is a project that I can relate to, and this is a brilliant project, and I just would love to introduce Mr. Hodes from the project VETT. He's got something fresh and new to share with us today, so I'm excited to hear it. How are you doing, Hodes? You're on mute, mate. Yeah, it's cutting. Can you speak now? Just take a trip, mate, and then come back in, and then we'll.
Hold on, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool. I had it double muted for some reason. Anyway, I wanted thank you for having us, Shane. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to make 2 comments on what Cappy was saying. When people see the snapshot of the chart, it does not take in the full picture of a project. You're getting a sliver, a percentage of what the project is about, and that does not reflect the work that goes on behind the scene. So that's just common knowledge, my main point. But for those who have been grinding every day on a project, thank you for putting that work in. It does not go unnoticed. Some people, so it does go unnoticed by a lot of people, but people do see the work that you're putting in. Like I've been working on VETT for over a year, 16 months now, and there's not a day that I don't work on the project. Yes, I take time for family and all that, but I'm continuously thinking about it, grinding and working on the project. I'm the only one working on my project. So everything that I have built, it's all me. I've put my heart into it, blood, sweat, and tears, everything. A lot of funds too, a lot of money. But anyway, I have conviction in what I'm doing. It's going to pay off someday. We did just launch on Solana recently. We've been on BSC for 16 months. The website that you're showing right now is only showing the BSC side. It will be updated here soon. But we did launch on Solana lately. I've been wanting to launch on Solana for a while. So we're dual chain, locked all the liquidity, locked 60% of the tokens. I'll be locking some more soon. DEX has been updated. We hit a all-time high of like 200, almost 200K. And recently it's dropped back down to about 77, 78K. The cool thing about the project is I've also created a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and that is going to allow outside funds from grants, federal grants, public grants, state grants, as well as public donations to help fuel the project. And not only are the veterans that we support going to benefit from this, but the project itself is going to benefit. Some of those funds will be funneled into the project as buybacks, not burns, but they will be locked. And I've already done that with 1% on the BSC side. Everything is locked down, good to go. Just waiting for that visibility. And for me personally, I can't spend hours and hours a day on X in spaces trying to show the project. So I've kind of tapered off of that lately. My life is about to get a lot more busy, a lot busier soon. So I want my time to count, and I want to partner with good projects that have the same mentality, that really want to get stuff done. True people that care about their projects, care about their communities, care about their holders, and they're not going to rug a project. Yeah, so the tokenomics there are off a little bit. With the latest news from the SEC and the CFTC, we did have 1% going back to holders as rewards. That 1% has been moved into the donation side. Because of the rewards to holders, that could be considered a security. So I wanted to make sure there's no confusion, no gray area. I pulled that 1%, and now it goes towards the donation wallet, which is the whole purpose for this token anyway. We want to give back to veterans. They deserve it. They need our help. It's just sad to see so many veterans out there suffering, not getting the support that they need. So the more we can give them, the better. And with the Heroes Alliance, the 501c3, and the VETT project, those together, working together, it's going to be very, very good for veterans. So I am here for questions from anybody. If you have any questions, like I said, this website's going to be updated here soon. I do have a website for the Heroes Alliance that explains things a little bit more on the charitable side. We do have NFTs that I launched a couple months ago. There's some really cool NFTs in there. If you happen to mint one, you're going to get 100,000 VETT tokens on the BSC side and be entered into a contest to win 0.5% of the supply. Lots going on. So if you're not in the TG yet, please join. Hope to see you there. And yeah, what questions you guys have?
Oh, amazing, mate. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, really, because I'm glad that there's a project in this space that's doing what you're doing, being an ex-serviceman, as well as, I know Jordan was ex-serviceman as well, ex-forces. We were both sappers, from different countries, which was great.
Yep.
And you know, we do know plenty of other ex-servicemen who are devs in this space as well. And what you're doing is truly making a difference. Like people know already. You know, I'm all about, since the day I left the forces, I've always given monthly to Help for Heroes, whether, you know, that was £10 or whether it was 150, £200, whatever I could do.
Every dollar helps. Yep.
Yeah, it's just because that you were working with people, and you know there's people there who have ended up homeless. There's people there that I get promised the world when they leave the forces, and they actually don't get any support whatsoever. That is kind of like the biggest lie about being in the forces, is what you get promised in terms of assistance when you leave. And yeah, like I say, there's so many people, you know, who are in unfortunate circumstances, not through choice, in the world, who have served their countries. So I just want to take this opportunity to say personally thank you for bringing it to the space. Ben, have you got any feedback for Hodes, if you can speak?
Hey, sorry. No, I think it's a great project. I've seen you in lots of spaces, and yeah, always a big supporter. So yeah,
Cool.
again, thanks for your service,
Ben.
and yeah,
I appreciate that.
it's a good project. Seen you around for a long time. It's something worth investing in.
No, that is true.
I got a question real quick.
Go on,
you know,
Chicken.
you mentioned doing a lot of this by yourself, and I can feel your pain. Thankfully, I have, you know, support on the dev side. But you know, this is, you know, help for veterans is, let's be honest, it's not something that's, you know, brand new. Everybody wants it, and I love.
Oh, I think I lost you.
Yeah, Chicken, you cut out, mate.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Have you ever explored it, you know, existing partnerships with like veteran or nonprofit organizations, so you could try and compound? Because staying, you know, doing this by yourself, that's going to be tough, right? I know a lot of veterans that are former IT, right, that are disabled or, you know, retired, that would love to help you, right? The other thing is, you know, I would love to help too. We're going to have some agentic AI capabilities. One being the first iteration is going to be a personal assistant. We're going to beta testers, man. So, you know, if that, you know, then there's something else I'd love to talk to you about, but like, you know, there's people out there that you could plug into. And that would be my only suggestion, is because, you know, these types of projects, man, it does take conviction, and the mission is real. But I think compounding probably matters more than control at this point. And trying to find groups that are aligned to the cause might help you, you know, be a catalyst to that change versus a victim, right? Of trying to impact change.
Yeah, I love that. I'm definitely open to talking on the backside, see what we can work out. I would love the help. I'm going to need it. But yeah, I've been trying to do some strategic partnerships. I mentioned the 501c3. I actually just got sponsored by Walmart and their Spark Good program. I got one grant awarded already, applying for others. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for people to walk the walk, to be able to say they support veterans and actually do something about it. Most people say the words, but don't actually follow it up with action. So, you know, on the outside of crypto, you don't have to buy the token to support the project. There are different ways to donate directly through the Heroes Alliance, and that's for normies, for everybody. So I'm just trying to make it easy for everybody. And yes, I am definitely going to need some help as this grows, as it scales. So yeah, let's talk.
So yeah, quick question. How are you? So you have the mission side, the nonprofit side, and the token side. How are you structurally separating all this so that people understand what's charity, what's, you know, project charity, what's market support, and how, what's the benefit to the actual token holders?
Yeah, so unfortunately, with the decision to remove that 1% rewards for the token holders, I would hope that the people would just buy and hold, because the project will scale up and the value of their tokens will increase. So on the token side, there's a 4% tax and 2% goes to the donation wallet. The community gets to donate on which veteran charities those funds go to. I do a bunch of research on the veteran charities in the first place to make sure their donation ratio is above 90%, so there's not much overhead or whatever. Then the community gets a vote on which one of those charities gets the funds. On the 501c3 side, there's a fund, Heroes Alliance fund through endowment. It's a public fund. People can see it. All of the funds goes right into there. I also created one through PayPal. What's the other one? GoFundMe and Venmo. So there's multiple ways that people can donate directly to the project. That is 100% transparent. Those funds will get pushed out to similar veteran charities, all voted upon by those people, the community, in the Telegram.
That's great. I appreciate that. And the reason I asked is for that one, I would like to connect with you after the show.
Absolutely.
So now that I understand a little bit more of the system itself.
Yeah, and I don't know if, Shane, let me send you an image real quick that you can put up that would be very helpful for everybody to understand kind of the ecosystem, how the two sides operate together and separately.
Yeah, it's because the donation flow sounds, pretty visible, which is great. I'm just curious, what are the actual boundaries between the community donations, the nonprofit, and the token itself. So, but that's fine. That's it. These aren't problems, right? These aren't, for anybody listening, this isn't anything detriment, right? It's just transparency is what's key here, and he's
Absolutely.
very transparent about everything, which is going to make everything flow a lot easier for people to want to onboard, which is going to eventually make the structure clean, right? You're the beginning, dude. Like, you know what I mean? These are questions real people are going to have to answer, right? And this is what sucks about projects. I don't want people to think that I'm attacking anybody, right?
Right.
But in order to get to the truth, you just, sometimes you just need a different perspective. And I think, you're starting with visibility is exactly what everybody needs to do. And then you can move into separating everything and clearly defining lanes. And then that way people that are specialists in whatever that they do can now have a role in a lane that they can work in.
Yep, absolutely. And I've been transparent from day one. Everything on the veteran side, the donations they remain on the blockchain. That's the two criteria. They have to be at least 90% efficient with the funds that are given, and they have to accept crypto. So that keeps it transparent 100% on that side. The Heroes Alliance side, we haven't done any donations directly from that yet, but that's something I'm working on, and that will also be fully transparent.
I appreciate that, man. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
And I appreciate you, Chicken, as well, offering to, to support and help out. I mean, this is what it's all about, and that's great. It's important to be able to connect up with others. And like you say, Hodes has been doing this on his own for a long time. And yeah, that's what we're here for, mate. So I hope we can help propel VETT. I'm glad you've moved over to Solana. Just a question. What was the decision in moving from BSC to then go on to Solana?
Still on BSC. I just dual chain now. I always wanted to launch on Solana, but when I first got in the crypto space back in 21, of course, at the height of the bull run and chasing green candles, my home where I started was BSC. So I had the opportunity to launch on BSC, so that's what I did. And now I'm able to launch on Solana, so it's dual chain. I think we're in the right spot. We just need to scale and grow.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for coming on and taking the time tonight to come on and showcase this project. Like I say, it's a brilliant project for the viewers. Go and check out VETT, join the Telegram, follow the Rex. And as you heard it there, available on BSC and Solana. So if you want to purchase a bag, purchase a bag. No pressure whatsoever. Amazing. And you know what? I look forward to having you back on the show again. We want to follow you on this journey with the project, especially you just moved over onto Solana as well, so we can kind of navigate as a whole to come and support you and make things happen. So thank you, Hode.
Hey, I appreciate it, Shane. Thanks for having me, and thanks to everybody else that's here listening to me babble on. But thank you guys, and I'll definitely be back.
Thank you.
That's what we're here for. So yeah, just kind of moving on to the next project. We're just going to keep moving it thick and fast. Ben from Seddle, I know you're short on time, so I just want to drop you on. If you can just give a pitch. I know you've got some exciting things coming up.
Appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, so Settle, stable encrypted digital ledger. We are a wallet app on Stellar. We have a unique rewards feature where if you're part of the project, you get a unique QR code. The more people you get to sign up, you make a percentage of their transactions. So that's kind of our unique niche in the market. But the app itself is very cool. It's very business friendly. You can generate receipts with all your transactions. Everything's in USDC, so it's very user friendly, easy username and password login. Generate receipts. Everything's in USDC, so you load $20, it stays $20. You can pay people who aren't crypto native. Have an easy time understanding it because it's designed like a Cash App, a Venmo kind of look to it. We are live in El Salvador now. You can download the app and get your referral links and kind of check out what we're building through either App Store. And we'll have a pre-sale for the token and some more kind of launch news around that as the weeks go. We're 2 to 3 weeks out, I think, from that. But yeah, it's been a long project. We've been working on that for about 2.5 years now. So we have some big partnerships to announce and some fun things. I think we're going to do our pre-sale launch party here with you guys at Beans and Bologna. So that'll be fun. We're looking forward to that. People are in that space. It'll be a 3-tiered pre-sale through Pink Sale. So there'll be like a friends and family tier, an influencer tier, and then the general pre-sale. And if you are in on the show when we launch, you'll get in on the friends and family tier. So stay tuned for that. It'll be, like I said, a couple weeks out, but we're looking forward to that. And a few other big announcements with it. But so, yeah, I'll just kind of keep it short. But if you got questions, let me know.
I knew you were going to keep it short because I know that's just the way you roll. Because I've shared so many spaces with you, and it's like, it's just like pulling you to get the information out. You don't like to give anything. So, no, that's great. So
it'll all be out soon, Shane.
No, I know. But just in regards, because obviously Hodes was talking there about obviously being able to use certain services to then offload to give to charities and stuff like that, like Venmo, for instance. So what is like the charge difference? What's more beneficial in terms of using you over an alternative?
Yeah. So like, let's just take Venmo, right? Because they're the big one in the US. So they're free, sort of, for peer-to-peer transactions, right? They charge 1.7, I think it is, 1.75% to get your money instantly into your bank account. We don't charge anything extra for that. We will have very cheap ramps available, which again, I'm not going to get too much into until we go to launch. But the difference will be, so Venmo for like a business account, they charge you 3%. Then they hold your funds before you can get it into your bank account, or they charge you more to get those funds into your bank account. Will be cross-border. Venmo's not. Our big thing is the cross-border part, as most crypto stuff is. But the referral network that we've attached to it is, when I got into crypto, the biggest thing that rubs me wrong is you buy into a project, and then if you ever sell, you're a Jeet, and you can't make anything on a project without losing your place in the project, kind of thing.
Yeah, feeling guilty for your actions.
Yeah. So our project is built very different. We want everyone to sell. The idea, I'll get into the Pink Sale a little bit. So the pre-sale, you'll get a 10% unlock on launch, and then 5% on the first of the month. After that, we will have bullish news on the first of the month, along with those unlocks. We encourage people to sell their pre-sale earnings, and then either support other projects, donate to VETT, like buy into other people's crypto projects and talk about that, make posts about that. The idea with the pre-sale is to really give people something to talk about, right? Take your wife out to dinner, say, I made some money on Settle. Like, this is what we did with it. We went on a vacation. We did whatever we did with the money, but we sold and we made something, and it's different, right? And then the idea there is you have your unique QR code referral links where you can then make money. So you're getting content to then talk about, to get other people interested in the project, to then use your referral codes to then make you more money, right? The pink sale will be something different in this space. We want you to sell. We want you to take some profits. We want you to get into other crypto projects, support other communities, go do something fun with the money. And then that gives you content to then post about. Think like Mary Kay back in the day. You'd sell enough product, they'd buy you a pink Cadillac and you drive it around, right? And you'd get more clients because you had this big pink Cadillac, you're successful, you've made money in Mary Kay, right? It's the same kind of idea. We want you to sell. We want you to keep building that downline bigger and bigger so that you can make more every time you get somebody to click on your links, right? Every time somebody gets in under you, you end up making more. You then take those earnings and spend them, right? To generate more content, to generate a bigger downline. You don't need to buy into the token. So your first layer is free. So you send your referral code. I send mine to Shane, right? Shane owes me $20. I say, hey, pay me through Settle. Here's my referral code. He pays me. It's a 1.2% wallet-to-wallet trading fee. You get 0.4% of that back. You don't have to hold any token, and you get that airdrop to you in Settle token. From there, you need to hold a certain amount of token per level, and then you get 0.3, 0.2, and 0.1% from there. So the metrics we try to get people to look at is if you're going through about $400 a year, not a lot of money, it's costing you under $5, and you're adding about 10 people a year to your network, you're making $4,000 just on your fourth layer, right? If everybody's doing the same under you, just general metrics. So you're making close to $5,000 on the system for the year. That's market bought price of token. So as more people want to get on the project, the token goes up. If you're holding token, think like the rewards program for like my Amex card, right? You get 1 point for every dollar you spend or whatever with the Amex. If Amex limited those points, then every time you got them, they'd be worth more and more if you held them, right? Same with our token. You hold the token, the points are worth more the more people are holding. So you need to hold per level. The system grows. We adjust how many tokens per level as we go. So if the level gets to, let's say you're holding 40,000 tokens, right, per level, and that pushes $100, we will then adjust how many tokens are needed per level. It creates this flywheel where you've made enough money, you can sell some, we lower the amount of tokens you need per level, you can cash out on a little bit, you use that for content, you get more people under you, token price goes up because more people are holding, the more people you get under you. And it just keeps generating a higher and higher price for the token, right? Which then we lessen how many tokens you need to hold per level so more people can get in, creates a good buying opportunity. So the initial phase is our pre-sale unlocks on the 1st of every month. That will push the price down on the 1st. We'll come out with bullish news. I won't get too much into the plans, but again, we've been planning this for 2.5 years. So when it launches, it should be fun. And yeah. Shane knows a little bit more about it, but go ahead.
No. What I do like about this is that you're balancing the chart quite nicely. So you're providing opportunities always for new members to get in at a lower cost, but you're also providing the opportunity for people to take profits away from it. So it's almost like the referrals, like the most important thing for somebody. But also, which I love about this project is you mentioned that you've launching in one country, but the way that you've set this project up is that it's always going to be a reoccurring thing, that you're going to be launching somewhere new, like every week or every month, which keeps Settle in the mind and keeps it visible in the space as a whole, which is really clever. Actually, I quite like that you're doing it that way. And I also do believe that by giving people the opportunity to take profit and it just being a request for them to put a bit of content out explaining the reasons or what they've spent that money on, it's not a lot to ask. So I do hope that if anybody does get into Settle when it launches, and like you say, they're going to be here on the show, so make sure you tune in. You know, please do make that content what Settle's requiring, with them gains that you do make, which is really important because that's the whole purpose behind it. Again, I thank you very much, Ben, for coming on. I just want to open it up for some questions, because I don't know what I can share and what I can't share, so I'm just keeping my mouth shut, basically. Has anyone got any questions?
Yeah, no, I'm curious. The payment use case is real, and it's pretty cool how you guys have been working on this. The strongest version is, Settle is a simple cross-border payments on a stable coin rails, which makes it real payment infrastructure, which I love. So that the thing I'm curious though is whether the referral design that you have amplifies real usage, or whether real usage just becomes the wrapper for the referral design. So, because like if the average user never recruits anyone or even never buys extra token, is the app still compelling enough to win on its own?
Yeah. So at 1.2%, we're cheaper than almost anything out there, right? You can get into crypto and you can get into other wallets and things like that. But we'll have features that we're dropping on launch that you won't see in other products. So a little bit of that we're kind of keeping in our pocket for launch.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yes, we have the referral network is our big thing that we're talking about right now, because we hold patents on it, so nobody else can take that from us. So yeah, we have multiple patents on the referral network. It will be our thing. It is our stamp on the project. Other people can have crypto wallets and they can set their fees. Our thing is we're not in a race to the bottom with fees, because who's going to win in that is going to be PayPal and everybody who can squeeze us all out. So our thing is understanding crypto communities, and that if you want a project to be pushed, there has to be a reason to push it, and there has to be a reward for the people who are going to push it, right? So for people to use Settle and connect their MetaMask wallet and get their rewards in a decentralized way, a lot of people are going to need to have that explained to them, because crypto is very new. So our goal is to reward you for that explanation, right? You show your neighbor, hey, I got, took my wife on this vacation. Your wife goes and tells her friends about it. Everybody starts talking in your circles. It's not necessarily you have to post on X thing. It's an actual reward that you can go out and spend in your life. You can use, it will draw attention. We could have launched the same app with a 0.2% and no rewards system and saved a whole percent on the whole thing, right? But then we're just in a race to the bottom with everybody else. The goal here is to show that crypto communities are worth having, and that if you create a system that benefits everyone, then you're better off, right? So we have this reward that the way the rewards are generated, it's a market bought purchase of Settle token and distribution, right? So we have a set amount of supply. Every time the app transacts in $1 million, it generates a $10,000 buy off the open market. So, and then is distributed to everyone, right? So the more people are transacting, it's not only better for holders because the tokens are being bought, right? You don't have to buy a token. Nobody has to buy a token, right? You can access your free level. You can save those tokens and access your second. Once you access your second, you're getting more rewards. You can access your third quicker, your fourth quicker, right? You explain to people how to use it. You generate these buys. We're looking for support, right? So as you go through the system and you've generated your rewards, now we start lessening how many tokens you need to hold per level. So now you've made income on each of those levels that you can sell off. You can then have these rewards. So if you don't have money to buy into a crypto project, we're just looking for support, right? You give us a good review in the App Store, you share it with your friends and family, you can start generating a real income off of that. And the more people get in, the more the community benefits because more and more tokens are getting bought, right? It'll never max out and be like, well, you got to invest $1,000 for this level. because we will always adjust how many tokens you need per level so that it is always a good time to buy. So
Yeah,
the
I appreciate that
pre-sale,
explanation.
yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
because
think I don't think I've ever seen a project have this approach before in this space.
if
It's
that's
kind of
patented, it's
like,
clever, and because the support itself becomes part of the on ramp. And I just want to say one thing, and I'm done. Is I love the direction, is because if this is for the broader communities, is that you're starting to see people wake up, right? The macro lens, fiat currency is starting to shake, and I think there's going to be a huge correction in June or July. And if that happens, we got to remember, we got to pass the torch, right? Web 2 is going to be, hey man, I'm done with fiat. And if we don't have the funnel, and like he's talking about onboarding and teaching people and taking that approach, and actually have the incentive program to want people to share it, right? The whisper way of creating markets is my favorite, and I love that. So I'm a big fan of what you're doing, because you're going to see a big push. And I think by November, if we don't have all this set up, then the people that have the technology ahead of us are the scammers, and we don't want them to capture their attention first, right? And so
right.
incentivizing people, right? Like people already do this, but having a real referral and having patented technology, that's a moat. And for people that are listening, that's what you want to hear.
Appreciate that.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And like I say, it's great that, this is going to bring retail into the space and also make it really simplistic as well, which is important because sometimes, we overcomplicate things in the space when we really don't need to. And, for it just to be USDC, it is what it says it is. You know what I mean? It's as simple as form. And like I say, for all the projects in here and anybody viewing, the show, make sure you reach out to Ben if you are interested in using Settle within your own project for whatever purpose you need. He's going to be available. Just reach out to him and talk at the back end. So I really appreciate you, Ben, taking the time
Thanks,
on tonight.
Thank you.
Next up, I just want to kind of get Jordan up. I know you're short on time, Jordan, so I really appreciate you taking the time tonight.
Yeah, no problem. And before I start, giving a little bit of an introduction about myself and then about Ryft, I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Hodes, with the VETT project. So a little of my background. So I served in the United States Marine Corps for 8 years, and I'm a disabled veteran. So there's so many veterans out there that are looking for opportunities. They're looking for a place to belong. They're looking for a place for the mission to continue. And that was kind of what I found with blockchain. And I think that there's a massive, massive opportunity for bringing in veterans, not just United States veterans, but veterans from all around the world, that they're looking for that next mission. And so I think what VETT is doing is very, very key and important. And it's actually kind of surprising me. There's not many projects that are on chain that are focusing on that particular vertical. And because I think that there's just so many people out there that would want to learn how to use these tools and be able to marry AI and the blockchain, because actually with AI and the blockchain together, it makes it even more powerful. And so I was actually searching the other day. I was searching to see if there were any projects that have launched where they help veterans learn how to use AI tools. I could barely find anything. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, really?
Missed opportunity right there.
Just
Hoorah!
major, yeah. And so that was just man crazy. But it actually segues into my journey here in the crypto space. I joined crypto so that I could help transform the nonprofit industry. That's like the main reason why I started building with blockchain technology. I was running one of the biggest Facebook groups in the world, multi-faith Facebook groups, and we were looking for ways to manage all the funds that we were getting from different fundraisers. And, how do we make that more transparent? How do we measure impact? How do we do that? And that is blockchain is the place that you can do that. I mean, I'm still, like, how is it possible that we haven't, done that since I've been full time in this space since 2021, and then I started getting into it about 2019, but and then also, Ben was settle, like, this is a pain point that we saw so much when it came to, like, cross border payments and all the different, little hidden taxes or taxes from governments or different entities that were taking, from those donations. And so, what Settle's creating is, something that is very powerful, and especially the like kind of multi-level marketing style of referral system. Like, that gets me really excited because I had times in my life where I was in multi-level marketing and and yeah, I did quite well, actually. I did quite well, like rising up the ranks and everything like that. Funny enough, Ben, I actually met one of the like co-founders of Mary Kay, like back in the day. Like, I got to spend time with her and pick her brain and see like how they did it, and it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. But I think a main thread of everything that we've talked about so far, of all the different projects that have been here tonight, is that we're all trying to solve different problems, real problems, and using the blockchain to make that happen. And so that's just so beautiful, because that's really why we created Ryft, Rapidly Yielding Future Technologies, was to look at different areas or edge cases in the space and say, okay, what can we create to help make this experience better? Where can we innovate here? Where can we, maybe change a mindset or a behavioral model around certain things? Because the main core of who we are at Ryft is we create positive sum systems. We're always looking for that PVE. We're sick and tired of the PvP in this space, and I guess for those of you that don't know me, I'll just give a little bit more of my background, and hopefully I'm not rambling on too much, because I'm definitely opposite of Ben. Like, I will just keep going and going, but but um, I got to be one of the co-founders of PolyDoge, one of the most successful meme coins on Polygon. Well, actually, the most successful native meme coin on Polygon. 120 million market cap, 260,000 holders in 2021 on all the major exchanges. And so I've gotten to see a lot of the different things, the shifts that have happened in our industry. And one thing that just has really been tough for me to deal with is the lack of conviction, the lack of commitment, the lack of, the hodl mentality that we had, like, in 2021. And they had a study that just came out on Solana, right? That the average amount of time that you hold a token on Solana, or the average amount of time that's being held, is 60 seconds. 60 seconds. You can't build anything substantial, from that short of an attention span. And so, when you're creating positive sum games, when you're creating systems that are about longevity, you're looking at principles around, like the 7-generation principle. How does this affect 7 generations from now? Like, thinking at that level, it's a very different type of mentality shift. And so through that whole process, we've been building Ryft for the last 2 years. We've done hybrid NFTs. We have our own full protocol that we built with that. We also have ways that we've been doing fractionalization of RWAs and putting RWAs on chain. We worked with, we put gold on chain, fractionalized collectible cars, done all kinds of different, things with that. create a platform where you can take any token and turn it into a hybrid NFT. For those of you that are, from Solana, you probably know MLP 404, and MLP 404 is fantastic. But at the same time, we created a system and framework called Magic's multi-dimensional agentic generative infinite composable scalability that allows you to take any asset at any asset class and combine it, infuse it, connect it, and think about all these different layers of gamification, world building, storytelling. I mean, literally, it's kind of limited to your imagination, and that's been really exciting, like building that out, all these tools. But just like with any project, especially if you've been building for a while, you're constantly trying to find PMF. You're trying to find the revenue, generation that keeps everything going, and it's not just that you can pay your team, that you can continue forth on the mission, right? And so for us at Ryft, we just recently, in the last 3 months, really, we kind of had go back to the drawing board, see what we can find is going to be the most crucial utility from everything that we built so far, and how do we kind of build around that and build a system that can generate revenue, that can be easy to sell, that can be something that everyone can use, and it still sticks within our main philosophy of the player versus enemy, or the positive sum type of system. And so through that, we've been very blessed because we were able to discover that, and we discovered that by looking at what's one of the biggest issues and problems right now when it comes to getting the support that you need on particular assets, or even the different assets that we had created, different market primitives. And that's your active liquidity demand. It's the amount of actual active demand that you have, and how much you can move those assets meaningfully. And so we found that there is this huge gap when it comes to being able to trade value. And most of that kind of goes back to the cypherpunk principle, the cypherpunk principles of like peer-to-peer trading, OTC, direct trading, right? Not on AMM, not on order books and things like that. And in fact, the more that a market matures, it leans very heavily toward OTC trading. And so, we looked at traditional finance. Traditional finance has 80% of, all those trillions, hundreds of trillions of dollars of transactions, yearly, are going through these different types of mechanisms. And so we saw that if you want to trade, a token without price impact, you want to trade it without slippage, you want to trade it without getting MEV attacked or sandwich attacked, and especially with the new agentic age, where the vast majority of the competition that you're up against when it comes to PvP markets is you're competing against all these different agents, all these different algorithms and iterations and different levels of collusion. And so how do we make it so that you have a better experience with that, but also how do we make it so that everyone can do this peer-to-peer trading or OTC trading that is like a secondary layer on top of trading on DEX and trading with centralized exchanges. And so we are very grateful to say that the system that we've been developing over the last 3 months, more so for the last 2 months, we have made it so that you can trade any token at any size, any asset on any chain within 30 seconds or less. and that you don't have to have some special membership at an OTC desk, where OTC desks you have to have 50,000 plus or more to be able to even trade like one time. There's not very many decentralized options for being able to OTC. But here's the kicker, right? Here's the most incredible part of our system, and that is that why is it hard to do full-on OTC decentralized trading? It's because you have to go find a counterparty. You have to find someone else that wants that token. You have to go find someone else that's going to take on that risk. Well, we developed this system that we call the ALD right now. It has another name, but we're not revealing it just yet, which is the Active Liquidity Demand System. And in this system, we are providing a opportunity for anyone that wants to have an AI agent to put in a certain amount of money into this ALD system, and then they get to be a part of the position of execution of liquidity, which we call the POL. And through this type of new way of doing DeFi, demands, and you get to be at that position, which is the most powerful position you can be in. You can have an agent in our system that's helping to manage part of that ALD, and you get fees and arbitrage from all the different trades that are coming through. And another amazing part of this is that we're also doing cooperation. So it's a very cooperative system. It's not a winners take all type of system. And so it's even a way that we can manage behavior, because here's another major opportunity with AI agents, is that we can direct them and change the way they behave in markets, because they do not have emotions like you and I, right? They don't just decide like one day they're going to wake up and dump on a chart, right? Like they're very methodical in their goals, their vision, what their programming is telling them to do. And so we're helping to create this new behavioral models that are very positive sum, and make it so that we can stabilize charts even more. There can be, there's less of that mentality of, I'm just gonna go jeet, this token. I'm only gonna hold it for 30 seconds. I'm only gonna hold it for 48 hours or what have you, right? And so we're giving the options of being able to come and use these systems and also engage with these systems, so that you can actually be a part of that change, being the change in the space by using this. And in our modeling that we've done, because when you're at the position of execution of liquidity, you actually get much higher ability for gains. And it's not like being in LP pool, where you have impermanent loss. It's not like a, single side stake or other types of like DeFi protocols. And you've seen what's been happening with DeFi, right? Like all the different exploits, all the different things that have been happening that have been, really unfortunate. This type of system is very secure because it doesn't work off of those. It works off of different types of principles and settlement layers and infrastructure. And I will say this, what we discovered is that there are elements of what we've built that have been kind of gate kept and controlled by massive funds, massive liquidity, massive players for like six plus years. And we're actually democratizing that layer. We're letting everyone have access to it and being able to use this through this mechanism of OTC and other types of elements. And so we're getting ready for our test net right now. We just secured 2 of our biggest partners that we haven't even said publicly, that we're kind of key and critical partners to making this system work. And so we're excited, for the next chapter of what we're building with Ryft, and what we can bring to the space, how we can generate revenue, how we can generate massive opportunities for revenue for many other people, and the way our ALD system works too is that it's not where it doesn't dilute. In fact, the more liquidity we get in that system, the more value it actually builds, and the more potential money everyone can make in it. And so that's something that we just it's a huge blessing to be able to, engineer, design, and get this all ready for market.
Yeah, so basically by getting more people in to make money by being at that point of execution, it actually makes more money for you and everybody else.
Correct.
By having
Yep.
that opportunity for more people to get involved. And I, like everyone knows that I'm part of the Ryft team as well. And what I'm just going to say on this is that the most important thing for us is, one, giving people that opportunity where it's been somewhat gatekept from everybody, but also being able to OTC any amount of token instead of having to have a huge amount. But what we're wanting to try and do is basically provide a place of education and changing of behaviors in the space by bringing people together to trade the right way, but also by giving everybody an opportunity to make money. They can then put it into their own projects, and then being able to pass that information on to community members and other team members to get in provides more money. It's like a flywheel. Then they'll put more money into your chart, but then if they want to take profit, OTC, no chart impact, no red candles. And by having all these projects who do follow by these rules, you're going to make a statement in the space. People will wonder what the hell is going on. They'll want to know, how are you maintaining such big green candles? You have 50, 100 community members involved in this, and they're all contributing X amount of money daily onto your chart. Crazy. And they're able to take profits without hurting the chart. It's so good.
That's one of the most beautiful parts of it, right? Is that so many of us, I mean, myself included, I mean, I've had huge backs in projects, and I didn't want to dump on the community. I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't, and I didn't have like any avenue to go and do that, even privately, right? So like, that's the other element that I didn't talk about, is like, in our system, you can do it, publicly, right? And then you can go full encrypted, end to end. No one knows that you traded that token whatsoever, right? I mean, I guess all they could see is if you had like, some extra USDC sitting in your account or something like that, or ETH, right? Like, oh, where'd that come from? But other than that, I mean, we needed to give these options, right? We needed to give these options to retail. Whales have been already using these options for forever. I mean, if you see Micro Sailor, anytime he buys a massive amount of Bitcoin, that is not on spot trading. That's not, that is completely OTC. That is a special OTC desk that has enough liquidity that is, ready for that demand. And then he's able to, make that trade with that BTC. And so for anyone that has lower than about 50,000 on average, you do not have access to peer-to-peer OTC trading platforms, or even the liquidity to make that happen. And that's another reason why the OTC desks have dominated, is because they, they have the liquidity, right? They have the liquidity, they have the counterparties, they've already created all those relationships. And so we will be creating, those individual relationships with different projects and everything like that. But the way that we built our system, you don't have to go find a counterparty. You can put in the amount of that you want to trade, what chain it's on, all those different elements. And within 30 seconds or less, that trade is done OTC. And then in the back end, you've got all the different agents that are within the ALD, and they're all providing, different amounts of liquidity sourcing around different strategies, and they're getting rewarded for being a part of that whole system. And and the rewards are they're pretty so they're pretty wild. And why are they so wild? It's because when you're at the position of execution of liquidity, you are the one that is determining it. You're almost like the market maker, but even more so because you're actually one that is engaging with that trade, and you get to decide on what that arbitrage is. You get to decide on what, different things are, how much when you're going to sell that. And then that's the other thing that we talk about, here and there. We're going to be talking about more, but when you create a system where you can do this OTC, back and forth, it also creates that flywheel of where, yes, you get that arbitrage, but you can just trade right back into the OTC system so that you're not actually, hitting the chart even on your trades, as the AI agent within the system, or, different players or projects. Now, here's another thing that we're doing, which is quite unique, is that we know tons of projects are relying on the different taxes that they have on their LPs. And so we're not saying like, hey, we want to bypass, that. Like, we're working with different partners and projects to make sure that, they can still have a fee even off of OTC trades. And so, we're looking at all the different dynamics of making it so it's very positive sum system for everyone that's involved, everyone from the user to those, helping provide liquidity, to the projects, to, the different routing systems and everything in between. And then the other thing for the foundation of Ryft is that, and I've said this in the AMA, so I'll say it here, but even at $1 million daily in volume coming through our system, it's on average about $5,000 to $8,000 in fees that's coming back into the foundation. And so if we can get up to, like true, traditional finance. Okay, so I'm saying 1 million, right? Traditional finance, if you're doing forex trading for OTC right now is about $9.6 trillion a day in OTC trading. So even if we can capture a very small percentage, because this is not just tokens, we're going to be trading all kinds of different assets as we roll this out. We start with tokens first. We are going to be in a very advantageous position to build a product that in a system that many people will be able to use, get major benefits from, and then also having those other access layers for everyone that wants to engage with the deeper layers of the system.
No, I really appreciate that, Jordan. And like, I give you a little bit extra time there just because I knew how much interest is in the room currently, because I shared the space link for people to tune in when you did your AMA. But as you always say, it's not if you OTC trade, it's when you OTC trade.
It is when.
And come the height, everyone's going to want to OTC trade so that they don't get that slippage. Because what's the point of holding onto your bags to the heights if you're just going to get ruined? But also being in this system as well, you're not relying on market conditions, because people trade no matter what, whether the market's up or down. So, your money's always just compounding and gaining. But also, obviously, you don't have the fluctuation of token either. So it's a great opportunity for anybody to get in. And I just want to say, congratulations on some of the deals that you have been doing, because they have been phenomenal. And if anybody wants to reach out to Jordan on the back end of the show, feel free to do so. He's involved in the Telegram group what we've set up for people to kind of stay in contact, and he's also there to provide any support as well and advice. I just want to give the opportunity to two people who haven't spoken. Billabong, are you there, mate?
Good afternoon. Good evening.
How you doing, mate? Have you got any questions or feedback?
No, this is very interesting. I just have to say that you never know when you get invited to a group and you don't know who's going to be there. It's very pleasing when you step into a group that's actually so articulate and actually well knowledged in their fields. So I really do appreciate that a lot.
No, that's great.
Oh,
I'm
thank
not
you.
very articulate, but I try to get up to speed with all of Jordan's big words. I just simplify it for the dummy, basically. But no, it's great to have you, by the way, Bill Bong. Thanks for attending. We'll get you on very shortly. And I have no doubt Chicken will probably have something to ask. Chicken, are you there, mate?
Yeah, I'm here. No, it's a lot, man. Seems like you put a lot of thought into this. I think I've come to crypto as a way for people to get in at the business level, which it seems like you have with broader expectations in other markets, right? And so what I heard was better execution, OTC markets, which is great. I love that. Promoting less chart damage. There's an alignment in fee sharing. I'm pretty interested in the agent arbitrage more side of things, especially since we build agentic AI on our team. So yeah, man. I mean, the only thing I would really have to say is, and I'm sure you've thought about this, is to prove the positive sum model you talk about is creating real market health, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just trying to build a more sophisticated private trading layer that potentially could feel like it feels better, but only for those that are already inside of it. And so if you've thought about that, and I'd be curious to know what metrics you show down the road once you guys test everything and then go to market that are improving the market, not just improving execution for participation.
So Chicken, that's actually the most important question that we ask ourselves every time that we're building this system. And like even the reputation system within it and the different behaviors that we reward and the behaviors that have consequences. Because if you want to change behavior, you have to have consequences as well. You can't just be like, oh, everyone needs to follow this particular thing, but we're just gonna slap your hands, and so that piece of it we're obsessed with, and we're obsessed with what that data is going to bring and how we adjust that over time. And so yeah, and I would love to talk with you because anyone that is building with AI agents, if they're looking for a way for their agents to make money, in our estimate, this is kind of there's not many areas where they could plug and play so quickly and be able to be making money so fast too. And so and the reason that we fully leaned in on agentic is because at scale you can't do this type of system like at scale, where we have that, like especially when we get up to like 50 100 million daily in volume, like it has to be agentic. It can't be. Now humans definitely are in the loop, of course, and we believe that that's very important. It's a very important part of the process, but the speed of execution, it has to be agentic. And so yeah, I would love to see what you guys have built, and then kind of how how your agents can plug into that layer. Even in testing, we could have you guys in testing with us.
Yeah, no, definitely. Everything, just to give you, like, we don't rent any intelligence. So there's no APIs for us. Everything that we do is local. Our agents have real memory. My focus on my team is behavior. So, you say you have to give people consequences within your system. That's maybe somewhere we could have a discussion. I look at more, so my systems that I design, the first thing I design for is greed. So trying to limit the amount of people you let in. And that's the problem a lot of people faces because you want to onboard, right? You want to scale, and especially now with partnerships, people are going to expect certain things, right? Now there's people now that are holding you accountable, and so I'd love to talk to you on the back end because behaviors, which I believe is shaping markets, and through communities and being able to funnel people in through education and stuff, you could start understanding behavior at scale and compounding efficacy and creating markets versus what a lot of these agentic systems are doing today is renting intelligence and reacting to things that have already happened and then not even, introducing latency and all these other things. Because most people don't realize, especially with, blockchain is, there's traffic, there's slippage, there's all these things that go on, right?
Mhm.
And you can't have latency in a system that's not designed for, let's say, high frequency trading or something like that. So,
And chicken, that's actually a key element to our system. Is it's highly empowers high frequency trading. So making it so that agents can trade 300, 400, 500 times a day, and that they can do that more efficiently than they would anywhere else.
yeah, no, I'd be
And
curious. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I just want
It
to
seems like you
say, it
got a
kind
pretty
of,
cool flywheel system, and I'd be curious to learn more. I'm pretty sure there's a lot you can't divulge, and that's why I'm not trying to get into the whole infrastructure architecture type
Yeah,
discussion.
we keep certain things close to the chest just because we know that, I mean, with the agentic age, there might be many teams out there that are watching us and kind of like, you know we don't necessarily want to give them the full playbook, right? Like, here's a full playbook of everything that we've studied, researched, understand, have built. Now, we do have certain moats that we're developing as well, that make it even more difficult to copy this type of system. And really, it comes down to behavior mechanisms, the rewards and incentive mechanisms, because this is something that we've said in a few of our AMAs or spaces, is that if you're a greed driven founder, you are not going to be able to build our system. You won't be able to. It'll be near impossible for you to build a system like ours. You can't think at the level of what is called mechanism design for
Yeah,
the
that's why.
positive sum outcomes
Yeah,
to
I totally
build
get.
this type of thing. Like it's just so outside of the realm of like what your soul would gravitate toward with where you're at in your current understanding of what compounds value.
Yeah, Dan, we
And
gotta definitely talk, bro.
yeah, well, just to cut you off there, Jordan, because I'm cautious of time as
Yeah.
always, but
I'm
Chicken was on the
sorry. See, I took 30 minutes, man.
no, it's fine. But Chicken was on a previous show, and when he was on this show, it was important for me to get you both on together because last time he was talking about behaviors, and he was very strong on that to the rest of the projects that were within that show. And I know that's something also what kind of relates to what you're doing as well. So I knew that there would be conversations to be had with that for both parties, and that's kind of it was the perfect fit to have you both in on the same show. So I want to say thank you for taking the time. Feel free to jump off whenever because I know you're building. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, outstanding. Thanks for having us. And yeah, it's been great getting to know everyone I didn't know. And yeah, Chicken, I'm looking forward to those conversations.
Before you jump off, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing what you're doing because it's going to be incredible for our project. And I think Pissin as well. So we're very excited.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant for everyone involved just to be able to get the community to basically trade the right behaviors and not affect charts and in helping the growth of projects in the space. And like I say, as a collective group, it's going to be beneficial because people will take notice of your charts because you'll be in the know. And yeah, like I say, we lead by example and everyone can get involved, just kind of like reach out to either of us and yeah, we can start that journey together. And then, in a month's time, 2 months' time, we can all get back together again on the show and and see where we're all at with our projects. So,
Amen. And
yeah.
thank you, Torque. I mean, yeah, it's all about, how do we help each other achieve the visions and goals that we have for our communities, our projects. How do we protect our tokenomics, right? How do we protect our protect from mercenary capital as well? Like these types of systems are definitely going to shift things. And yeah, we're very, very excited to bring like new types of dynamics behavior models and market primitives to the space.
No, thank you, Jordan. Next project I'd like to get up, because there's 3 projects left, so we are going to run over time, but it doesn't matter. Is Chicken, actually. Welcome again, Chicken. If you just want to kind of take your time to give a bit of information on yourself and your background, and then get into the project.
Yeah, so I'm Chicken. This is a CTO project that we took over. It wasn't a planned project. In lieu of time, I'll just keep it brief. I study behavior. I worked in corporate America my whole life, and I'm sure a lot of people on this panel have had brought big ideas, and people looked at you like you were fucking crazy when you tried explaining to them. So early on, I couldn't figure out why. And behavior is what I try to understand, is because I was really good at fixing problems, but people never wanted it done, and people actually get mad at me, and all this crazy shit was going on. So that's where my journey grew. And 20 years ago, I started this idea. And at the time, the technology wasn't available. Well, now it is. And I have a cool dev team that is looking at behavior intelligence at scale. The team I got lucky enough to meet with studies emotional intelligence. They have 26 patents that will be published in September. The reason we're waiting to publish them is because we don't want people to copy our technology. But what we do is really focus on how to create agentic systems that learn, and that way you don't have to decommission them and spend all this money on building them. And we've done it. And so we started meme coins and crypto to build on these ideas and build infrastructure around behavioral intelligence. And we realized that we had latency and needed to turn everything off, and because we needed more RAM. And that's where I came across Chicken. And I figured it was a rug project, and I figured out ways that we could create revenue streams and incentives to create a social experiment to study in real time and put myself in it, some of the ideas and hypotheses I've had around behavior and how people align to certain incentives. And since then, what we've done is create 4 different distinct revenue streams. One is a crypto Monero miner that we've taken an open source script, patched it. You could go download it on our website. That will local version for Microsoft or Windows, that you could donate CPU to funnel revenue back into the project. We've almost done with our second deposit. The system is designed to split between philanthropy and community. Philanthropy being helping chicken farmers that donate to food insecure organizations or through their supply chains, and reducing their costs so they could donate more chicken and poultry and eggs. And so everything is designed around that, and then community as well. And so that's delivered right now. We're picking up the RAM hopefully within the next month. We just got the money for it. We were waiting for the hackathon, but we decided that we're going to actually go through an investor. So we're going to have to adjust the tokenomics a little bit. But what's really cool since I've last been on here is, right, and I'll get more into this on the behavior side so you guys can understand the behavior of everything, because a lot's changed since we last spoke. And more importantly is, now that I'm able to reveal a lot more, because a lot of it was proprietary, we had some people trying to steal our brand, so our attorneys were telling us to keep everything quiet. But it's a 3-chain system that we've developed. We're leveraging Solana for early onboarding, participation, attention, and signal. We're using Sui for a gaming ecosystem and their dynamic NFT capabilities and the technology that they have. And then we're using XRPL as the treasury and the payment layer, which I could get into. But all of this is to create an ecosystem that tracks behavior. The gaming ecosystem that we've developed right now that will be available for people to come in and data test hopefully within the next week will allow people to come in and create games. We're creating a cockfighting game that is using our agentic AI to attribute different skills. So you build your own cock, let's say, and once you mint that, now you could go into the gaming ecosystem and train it, do all this other stuff, and then people within this ecosystem are going to be able to build their own games and create a hub for people to funnel in, learn, and do whatever they feel. So, the best way for me to put it is that, what's exciting is now that the ecosystem is evolved and the chain design, people start seeing how to leverage all this technology. And coincidentally, Solana just announced a partnership with XRP and Sui, which makes all this a lot cheaper to do, and a lot faster. So the essence of what we're trying to do is show that these chains and everything is and communities could be a way to funnel people in, understand behavior, incentivize them, and then compound that over time. And we have agentic AI classes that'll be coming soon, pay to learn mechanisms where they're accredited, getting people to come in and have a lab to build in, gaming ecosystems to come in and just prompt and create games and then scale that down the road. The problem we had with the miner was 85% of the people that interact with us use mobile devices. So we're going to have a mobile version for the miner as well. Then we're going to have a marketplace for clothing and swag and all this other stuff that's going to turn into a travel kind of brand through its own NFT that's going to broker access to the whole ecosystem as well on that side. So as we scale our technology and scale everything, we're going to have different bots and different tools for people that they could use to help grow their business or their projects, all for people that are holding chicken right now until we develop the NFTs and everything. Everything's been slowed down because of the pump fund and the hackathon and what's waiting to get money. But now with how much we've proven within the social experiment that we've ran, we have a lot of people that really want to jump in. So, I'm happy to answer any questions. I know there's other projects and stuff, but, I don't really want to take up too much time for people that are out here trying to, really get their projects up and really discuss them. People do know me, man. I've been on the block for a little bit. So those that don't know me, please feel free to reach out, man. We're looking for builders. We're looking for people that want to come in and have access to really cool tech with people that love people, right? And everything I'm building is for community. And so I am a sole practitioner in the public eye right now. I have a dev team. So people that are on this, you know what that's like, right? So here to happy, I'll answer any questions.
Hodes, have you got any questions, mate?
Actually, I'm okay for now. I asked on the backside, and I'm all set. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Has anyone else got any questions?
No, I'm going to look into the project. It sounds very interesting. I'm highly intrigued and might be interested in taking one of your classes, actually. So
Yeah, so what's really cool too about the team, we're cybersecurity professionals. So it's over 25 years experience protecting data. Right now, people that want to download the miner, we're offering data security through a company called Cyber Crucible. You could Google them. It's a driver that sits at the OS level, prevents anything from leaving your environment in case you do click on a link. So everything that we do is security focused. That's why we're not renting APIs. We're not plugged into these systems. Our own version of Clawbot is fully secure, so that way you're not worried about Claude or OpenAI or any of these companies having access to your systems, because most of these people are vibe coding and doing things. We want to teach people how to build the right way with different architecture models, right? That people aren't understanding how to create guardrails to make sure that agents don't just diverge and all of a sudden delete all your data, right? That's why the behavior comes into this, right? You have two agents that have the same layer of truth. What happens when it diverges? Well, most systems, now the systems respond after the fact, right? Try and contain it. Well, what we're trying to do is understand why behavior like that would happen in the first place. And it's interesting how humans and systems, the most efficient ones, mimic the same type of behavior.
So, Chicken, man, I love the intention and the care and the immense amount of research and every layer that you're piecing together, all the puzzle pieces and everything. It's remarkable. I definitely see many areas where we can work together. One thing that I have a question for you, because it's something that I'm curious about. and I've been trying to research myself, is that, we currently as a collective of humanity, and even at the biggest labs like Anthropic, OpenAI, right, understand maybe 3% of what's happening in neural network, right? What things have you discovered as a team, or what things have, that there may be not widely understood, or things that you've noticed when it comes to behaviors of these agents or the neural networks that that were surprising to you, or that were things where you were like, okay, we really need to focus on this particular problem?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. For me, it's all about uncertainty, right? Designing for uncertainty, right? And what I've understood is that, we can't pretend that we fully understand what's happening in any system. And I'd be actually careful if anybody's talking exact numbers around all that, because the broader truth is already big enough, man. And we still understand far less than we'd like to know about how these models arrive at certain internal representations and behaviors. So the interesting part is, if you test for uncertainty, it becomes interesting to us, because not just what the output is, but how quickly they start forming patterns around context, memory, incentives, and role framing when you try and disrupt it, right? Like when we go into these systems, we try and figure out how to break it first, right? And so the one thing that we've noticed is that a lot with people that call intelligence is just a highly is just, with intelligence, to me, and the way I look at intelligence is just data wrapped around emotion. And what I'm measuring for is, and what we're trying to study is called, what I frame is called emotional velocity. And so there's patterns that start forming that you have to be able to recognize. And when uncertainty happens, agents don't recreate themselves into something else. They go back to whatever that guardrail program, the app, whatever they were designed to do. The same thing with humans. When uncertainty happens, they don't create a new version of themselves. They go back to a version that they can anchor to, that they feel safe. And that's how I talk about identity and behavior versus attention, right? We're born into structures and aligned to false belief systems because we're forced to do so, and can't recognize the patterns until somebody wakes up, right? And now you start having a belief system around identity. Well, the same thing mirrors in systems, right? When small changes in structure or continuity, or even now how we understand memory and feedback loops, incentives, and all this stuff, all produce very different behavior. So one of the biggest problems in our view is that people often treat the model like the system, when really the model is only the thing that is only one component, right, that you want to compound. The surrounding architecture matters just as much. So, and what really stood out in all this is how fragile continuity becomes when trying to create these systems, right? When you don't when you're renting intelligence. And so when you building infrastructure, the focus has to be, how do you create systems that preserve context, learn over time, and don't have to constantly be rebuilt or reprompted from scratch. And so what we've done is, through our systems, is create a contract mechanism that makes sure that every time it gives a new iteration or does something, that contract is fulfilled. Because the agent is not operating in a vacuum, okay? It responds to what the environment rewards, what it remembers, and what it's allowed to notice, and what it's optimized to preserve. So with the gaming ecosystem, the craziest thing was that when we actually severed the API connections and turned it on, it didn't want to work, because we actually had to we figured out through the logs that we actually had to give it permission to think like we programmed it to. And we're like, whoa, that's fucking nuts. And so, like, all this stuff, it's less about asking how smart is the model, and try and ask yourself, and ask more, is like, what kind of behavioral systems are we actually creating around it? And that's why incentives are why a lot of people gravitate to that first. But you'd be surprised with incentive-based systems how things like greed manifest themselves with even in an agentic system. And so I guess the biggest insight was this, man. The real problem isn't just model intelligence. It's making sure things can continue, right? And like when nothing's going on, that means it's working, right? And we're like, oh shit. But memory is the next thing, right? And then once the system is able to learn from itself, then you could really incentivize the design. And I think that's where the behavioral side of things starts. And that's why I wanted to, kind of bridge those two worlds for you.
I appreciate that, Chicken, giving that explanation. Like I say, I just want Hodes is going to reach out to you, Chicken. He's already made that clear that he's wanting to get a connection, and so's Jordan. So we've achieved something in today's show. On many occasions that people are wanting to kind of cross pollinate and get communication. So that's amazing. I am going to swiftly move over because we've got 2 more projects left, and we're going to probably have an additional 40 minutes probably on today's show. I totally understand if people need to get away, then so be it. I just want to make that clear. But the next project I would like to get up is Halloween with Billabong. I am known Billabong for a very long time, previously part of the Labs group team. And yeah, I'm excited to hear about this project. I am going to just kind of put you on loudspeaker because I just need to move into the other room to put the dummy back in my daughter's mouth. But yeah, go on, Billabong. Spill the beans on Halloween.
All right. So this is something a little different. So I'm going to give a little bit of back on me because I'm meeting everybody here for the first time. So I'm kind of a black sheep. I grew up in a very kind of like Addams Family kind of household, but at the same time used to be a competitive runner and spent a lot of time in the daylight and doing theater and stuff as well. And used to have a lot of tension between being in the sports world saying, no, you can't concentrate on doing your dark things and going off and being into spooky stuff and movies and crazy stuff like that. Yet my mom was known for like sending roses to my dad at work with the heads cut off of them like Morticia Adams would. So I've always lived with like the horror background, but also one foot in the daylight. So I've always been a part of multiple different types of communities. And anybody that knows me within like at least the X world as Billabong Monkey, I've been in multiple different community teams. I've always been known for somebody that tries to educate as many people as possible and try to keep them out of the broken monetary system and also in crypto and not getting burnt. And so I've had a lot of people that I've just tried to care for and take care of in general. And so Halloween on Soul is an account that I created in 2024, June of 2024 to be specific. And this is like a little subculture, like counterculture piece of my world that was an account that even Shane didn't know about. This is where it's more of a Web 2 based like fan horror club, you could almost consider it, where it's a horror community of people that are into like movies, music soundtracks that are related to like Danny Elfman and stuff like that, where like he does the music for like every different Tim Burton type of movie you could ever think of, along with things like Batman and The Simpsons and stuff like that. So like enthusiasts that are into just strange and unusual things. And so this account purely focuses on, it's not a shill account. It's not like a Web3 where it's going around throwing tickers around of everything. This is where I connect with various different horror community people in the Web2 world, which also is really cool because I'm somebody who I spent my time in college taking additional courses in philosophy and anthropology and sociology because I love the culture of like watching patterns in people and people watching. And so like when you're in this subculture, it's not about like being like a hype token that's based around Halloween, like the season of only October. Like Halloween people, we're all about like, if it's Easter, we're memeing some sort of like zombie Easter bunny. And so like, this is something that where it's more of like, it's a lifestyle. And when you interact with some of these artists that make the really cool, creepy art, they're out of Japan. And so you get reach beyond just being in the States or just being in the UK. Like you get a very global reach because the niche counterculture of people that are into this are people who just enjoy like memeing fun things about like wacky ways of just making relations. So like this, the zombies ate my brain. Like this is just an account that spends all of their time on X, just memeing various different things about zombie culture. And so this is a place where this is where we play. And there's no Telegram. There isn't a website because these people who live on social media doing this stuff and sharing when they're preparing, like in July, in our world, day after 4th of July is like the day that like Home Depots and Lowe's and places like this and all of like the animatronic places that offer up like what's going to be the coolest things that you're going to use for your Halloween display for coming up in October, they start putting this stuff out. So then our people, we start going nuts posting like where we can get the next like Freddy Krueger animatronic or the next Jason animatronic, or it's like the new like haunted mansion setup and what tombstones and stuff go with that. Or like my front yard, I spent 6 weeks digging out and creating an entire graveyard that lives in my front yard 24/7, 365. I spent the following year after that, I built a tomb and full on spent the whole time doing plaster and figuring out like how I'm going to do wrought iron fenced doors for it. And so these are the things we get excited about. And I wanted to make it so that this was a world that this could exist. And all of us, we all have a favorite thriller or something, or we have somebody in the house that gets crazy about like, they're a big Halloween fan, or they're into the Scream movies, or they like Freddy Krueger because they want a little comedy with their horror. And so we have that little piece of that puzzle that puts us together. Cause like all of us are, or most of us are a mosaic of various different things that build us. And so that's where this side of it plays in. And then on the other angle of it, because of my time spending working with projects and building a knowledge on liquidity pools and token launch pads and like how to try to build the right token, do the right launch. And everybody knows that like when you launch a token on pump.fun, one of the biggest things you always hear somebody talk about is how many snipers came in and scooped up the supply and then dumped it on everybody, or right at bonding, it took a dump on them because the dev crapped out on them. Like these are all things that have all been normal problems that no matter pretty much whether you want to say that Solana's the scam chain or you want to say that such and such chain has whatever its problem is. I mean, you can pretty much pick a chain, and whether it was a hack or a contract issue or a culture issue, there's always something that's always going on that always makes it really hard for anybody to play within like holding a token and having at least a little bit of feeling of sustainability that it's going to be somewhat safe. Like there's no guarantees. We know this. So what I did was I spent the last 2 years just shopping different platforms. I have another token in the future I'm looking to launch, but the technology is not ready for it because I'm looking to do something different with it. But I knew that with what I did know, that I went playing around and realized that on Jupiter Studio, there's mechanisms that are built in that have anti-sniper tools that are built in. So the token was launched with 0 snipers. It's completely clean from the ground up. I actually waited until the bear because I'm looking for the ability to build a really slow base of people that are trickling in if you look up the token on, like, say, Jupiter Terminal, where you can get the breakdown right now, even it's a 10.9K market cap, and the top 10 token holders only hold 11.8% of the supply. Like, this isn't something where it's like people are swooping up and we're just like eating up the whole supply. There is a 10% token vesting that comes back to me as the dev. In 6 months from now, it will be a trickle. And with my knowledge of what I know with liquidity pools, I'm looking to be able to use that along with cash that I'm sitting on the side that I'm going to pair with it when that starts to trickle in. Because I want to be able to give it this whole summer to be able to build a slow build up. And I'm not trying to buy out from under everybody who's coming into the token. I'm using the fees that are coming back from it currently to slowly buy into the chart on top of additional people that have been it. I have about 46 holders so far. And I'm not looking for this to be a blast off. It's not a seasonal token. It's not something like that. If somebody were to look at it like that, because we are talking to Web3 people, I mean, what you're going to do is you're going to be looking for a token that you would be able to ease into over the summer so that by the time you have spectators coming in, considering if you talk generalized narratives, most people consider that we're looking at probably an October, September, late September, October type of time frame that most of the market should be seeing some sort of a flip around. And so if somebody was looking for a seasonal token, if you were going to call it that, you're going to see 15, 30 different Halloween type tokens that are going to launch in September, October. They're going to be 3 weeks old versus a token that's already going to be 6 to 7 months old. So there is still that angle play that if you want to be able to play, it's got that. And I'm not concerned that that's an issue further down the run because I'm expecting to have a solid set of people. The very first 12 people that have even invested into the project, they're all people that I know directly, and I know every single one of them from multiple projects. As like most people talk about when they come in, they say, well, I'm a single dev and I'm only working by myself. I did launch this by myself, and I don't have per se what you would say a team, but the difference is that I don't think that I don't have a team, because the way that I function in this space and the way I've looked at it for the last 2 years is bringing together communities of multiple micro communities to create a mega community is the support system that's required. And right now, for anything that I need, because every dev has their strengths, but every dev also has holes in their knowledge base. And the group of people that I work with between Panda Pals and For Reals on base, and I'm chain agnostic. This may be a token that's on Solana, but I work with anybody and everybody's got incredible knowledge bases. Like listening to this group here, you can tell the depth of knowledge within this group, that there's a framework of people that are able to help each other out. And I've already heard everybody talk about how I want to connect with this person. I want to connect with you later. And I think that is actually the community and the dev team, that you don't have to ever say that you're a single dev running by yourself, because you have the knowledge base of the hive mind of everybody you're working with. And that's where I think something like this is a really cool way for me to create something that is outside the box. Because there's like this narrative right now. Everybody's got this thing going on where they're talking about how crypto is being silenced on X and that the algorithm is killing the accounts. And Shane and I were just talking about this earlier today. It's not that the algorithm is silencing crypto. It's actually being focused is how the algorithm is working. It's looking for more true exchanges from person to person, and it's making it harder for crypto accounts. But because because I work with so many different teams, I manage about 4 different X accounts, and some of them are Web3 and some of them are Web2. So I can see from the angle of Web2 that has no connection with Web3, I'm seeing a change in the algorithm where the reward system is based on its posts that have to have better content value. It needs to be a little bit longer formed. It's highly amped if it gets videos and images and GIFs and things like that. And then the other part of it that people are missing is that everybody's saying that they're not seeing their friends in their timeline that they were talking to a while ago, but because they went away for a week or two, they don't see them in their timeline. It's feeding you a more focused timeline of who you're currently talking to now. So what people are giving you the likes, what people are replying, and then it's giving a boost that if you're replying to the replies, it's getting a boost out. And this is where one of the keys play in, is that if you can interact with an account that has a pretty good base in itself, get them to reply to you, you reply to them, and you are not only replying, liking, but that right there will put your contact of your whatever content you're posting and what you're replying to them in their timeline. And it's giving it to those who follow that person and working into their angle of their timeline. So it's not about just getting shill teams that are going to pile into one thread, because you're going to get a circular echo chamber. And like we all know in crypto that like the echo chamber is strong. Like you get a lot of really just hardcore people who only talk about what goes on in crypto specifically. And I think there's enough knowledge base in this group. I think for most of you recognize that like there's a lot more going on in macro that's affecting what happens in crypto. And so I think like if you can recognize how the mechanics of the algorithm is working, you can play it to your angle, that you just need to be able to change the dynamic of how you use it. And you need to be able to also recognize that the algorithm is giving it's about a 6-hour boost, that if you have interactions, you post something with good contact, you reply back, it'll push it out for about 6 hours. And then if that viewership dies off, it'll squelch it and it falls flat. But if you can break over that 6-hour mark, it'll push your content for an additional 6 hours. And so that's one of the things where it's just, I like watching patterns. I like watching people. I like trends. And so these are the things that I just figured. I already had a community of people I was already playing with and working with. And this is just a passion thing that I get to play in and have fun. And I'm using the knowledge that I've based off of patterns and teams that I work with, and the knowledge base of various different devs that I already work with in other groups, that I figured I would just create a token that has the ability to be a culture token mascot of what's going on the spooky side of the world. So when you flip that rock over, you might just find us.
No,
So,
I
yeah,
really
thanks.
appreciate that, Bill Bong. Thanks for coming in today. First and foremost, like we've known each other like probably from like literally the first or second week since I came into like going on X Spaces.
I think like
which,
over
you know,
2 years, right?
Yeah, like it's probably been more than that. It's probably been about 4 years, but I just really like that you're doing something that you're passionate about and you're not in any sort of rush. And I like that you've got a different approach in terms of how you're onboarding people and bringing new people into the space, even if it is just in terms of like purchasing the token. Not having a Telegram isn't the be all and end all. If anything, it probably takes quite a lot of the hassle away from you, and you can just speak to them people in an enjoyed environment what you're already in all these different social like rooms and stuff. So yeah, like I say, it was really important to get you on as well, because again, my concern's always been about people's X accounts getting suspended for numerous reasons, and literally every day there's a project that I've been familiar with for a number of years, and their X account they're starting again from scratch. Even like people who host spaces, you know, who've got huge followings that they've built up over the years, like Jem, for instance. She's just lost her X account, and she's, you know, she must have like at least 10,000 people, which she's starting again from scratch, and it's heartbreaking. So it was almost important to get you on just to kind of like educate everybody in here how to get the most out of X as well.
To your point also, like there isn't a direct attack on, say, $, your token, but you get better interaction and better crossover and less people reporting your content if you actually hashtag. And not only that, but if you can come up with a really good like a coined phrase or something that's very iconic to your token, and hashtag that as something common, along with maybe your token ticker minus the hashtag or the $sign. There's other ways to play that, because I mean, we're all trying to figure out how to reach outside of just the washing machine of money that's sloshing around. Like, you want to bring in curious people and bring in new people. I know from like working with like horror community people, if you start stomping on that whole like crypto angle, you get, if anybody mutes your account, you lose reach by a massive amplifier. And if they report you, like you like literally take your account down to like 0. So you also have to be able to think about who your audience is on the other side, that you're not just shouting at people, because we all hate being sold something, is that you want to create curiosity. Like, is the more that you can make it so that it's enticing and you give them a little value. And something that I know that I do on my own personal account that I flipped and really leaned into, especially now that the market's kind of gone the other way, is share some stuff that's really just like some culture and trendy, like whether it's like favorite music or something that inspires you. And we're going into an age of AI and so many deepfakes and so many things that are being automated, that interactions like this and conversations and spaces and actual human connection is going to be the thing that sells. And what are you going to get your best sales from? You're going to get sales from people who are looking for another human that they think says something intelligent, says something funny, brings value to them. And then that curiosity is what's going to pump them into your account, because you're going to funnel them by being a human first and a shiller second.
No, thank you very much for that, mate. Like I say, this is kind of also why we do the shows as well, is just trying to find that additional way of getting visibility, like being able to, like, just being on an X space, it's whoever's just in that X space at the time that he is it. But by doing the shows, you know, we're connecting through, you know, like today, like 8 different projects, feeds on all their socials, so it gets that visibility, which is a lot easier than, you know, other alternative ways which get attempted, and there's no risk of, you know, your socials getting shut down and that. But like I say, I really do appreciate you taking the time to come on, mate. I'm just a bit cautious of time still, so we have got another project to come up, and then we'll end with Capybara off the back end. But like I say, Bill Bong, thank you very much, and I love what you're doing. I love that you're doing something personal to yourself, and you're bringing in a whole new community into crypto in your own unique way. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, so next up we've got an amazing project. Actually, I've been in the X spaces listening to these a couple of times, somewhat under the radar occasionally, without even going up there and introducing myself, and then other times where I've gone in and they've welcomed me up to speak and get to know the guys. So the next project I've got up is Pissin. How you doing, Zach?
I'm good. How are you doing?
No, I'm doing good, mate.
I think we lost Wes, but yeah, thanks for having me on your space or on the show. Man, there's a lot of good projects in here, and a lot of utility, a lot of smart people, and I know I'm sitting here with this retarded horse pissing through the sky right here, but you know, that's just a front. Really, I've developed a quantum computer in my basement that nobody knows about, and it has solved cancer, and it actually does it by using your own piss. So don't let nobody know that, because the government will probably come and try to shoot me or something. But no, you guys are so damn smart. I feel like I'm in the wrong place. But yeah.
Not at all, mate. You're in the right place, mate. You're in the right place.
But man, y'all got such, I always end up getting in these, and even if it's only like 3 projects, it seems like I'm always right behind the most amazing project, and you've been just one after another of amazing projects. I don't have quite as much to offer there, other than, I guess, the problem I'm trying to solve, and I think a lot of you guys are doing it knowingly or not. But as you can see my face. I don't care if you know who I am. is to give a safe project that people can invest in and not have to worry about their money. I'm 52 years old. I got a full-time job. I got people that work with me at my job that I need very much to have that are invested in Pissin. And it's just about giving people a safe place and to have fun and just laugh. Laughter is so important. But I just got tired of rugs and scams. And, I was like, man, I just want to do something that I can control. And that's what this is. And yeah, I launched it pretty much by myself, but I've got a lot of people that's rallied around me and helped me, and a lot of people that come forward and said, is this your first project? And it's like, yeah, is it that obvious? And, and they were like, man, give me a call. And I would call them up and they'd kind of walk me through things. But Pissin is a spinoff of Pippin. He's the retarded cousin. He finally got loose. The family's kind of hiding him away in the basement. He drank a bunch of radioactive Kool-Aid, and he's just out pissing everywhere. It doesn't matter where, who, all in the trenches, and we just have a good time with it. Our TG is awesome. We have a Hydran come in and gave us their bot. It makes memes, so a lot of our pictures and stuff are made in our TG just by going in and /Pissin and then whatever you want it to be, and it'll generate some memes for you. And we just have a really good time with that. And, just have a good time in general in our TG and our VC. We're trying to grow our community. Our all-time high was about 64K. We came down, we had a pretty solid floor around 40K. I had some people that they knew that they were getting into a slow cook, and that's what we are. But I don't think they understood the definition of it. And a week later, they kind of G'd on us today. But that I'm glad to get them out of the way now and not later. We're here for the long term, and I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, but I'm not a quitter, and man, I'm out here every day grinding, and I know my wife's probably wishing I would just shut up and come in there and hang out with her right now. But it doesn't matter if my market cap's at 6,000 or 60,000. We're just grinding and trying to get the word out. And everybody wants that shiny thing everybody talks about with all the volume and things running, and that's what everybody wants. But you always end up getting rugged in those dang things, it seems like. And we're over here, and all our volume is organic. We don't have coals because all that stuff's short-lived. We want to build something that's going to be around for a while. And you just look at him; he's hilarious. And you can just do so many things with it. We all wake up and we piss in the morning. We piss before we go to bed. We piss throughout the day. You pissing on everything. If you think about it for the next couple of days, you'll be surprised probably how many times you say piss or something just without even realizing you're saying it until you become aware of this project. But yeah, so we're building that team. It was launched on Solana. I pumped fun. I didn't know. I was just frustrated. And I wanted to do something and to get something going. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. I had one guy help me set up the TG bots. And because I did launch this, and I was all by myself. And I'm older, you can tell, a little country, maybe a little slow. I don't know. But I didn't know how to set up the bots, and it just kind of flopped really quick. I waited a couple of days, made sure nobody was holding any of that token, and I asked them, and a guy come up and goes, "Hey man, let me help you." And he set up our TG, and I was like, "Man, I don't want anybody to think I'm a scammer or a rug. I'm doing this to try to give us a good project for people to have fun in and be able to sleep on it." And I just launched this when it didn't do nothing, and nobody was in it. And if they would have been, I would have went and just gave them the new token for free to match off whatever they were still holding. But nobody was in it. We relaunched it. I've had people just kind of coming out of the woodwork helping us. We have a lot of guys from Task Hub that support us, and Ben Billions, and we got a partnership with Kid and Walt. And I hope it's okay to mention some of these other people, but we're all kind of in there together. And this is our first time in here, and I really appreciate you guys. It's cool to come in and hear some real utility and some real big brain people talking about what they're doing. And we haven't got there yet. I want this to last. Right now, it is a meme coin. It really doesn't have a lot of utility other than building a community, which is our utility. But that doesn't mean we won't have something as we go down the road. I have locked over 7% of the tokens. It's like 7.39. I think is what I got locked. They're all the ones I have. Like I said, we're trying to grow our community. All my creator fees, which is not much, but it all funnels into our community wallet, and that all shows up in our as a buy bot kind of thing in our TG, and people can also contribute to it. And we've had some people do that, and I tell them whenever I'm about to go spend it on whatever that we need to do for the community, I tell them what I'm about to spend it on, and if you contribute, you kind of get a voice in it. So all that's going into that, and that will continue to be that way until we have a nice chunk of money sitting there where we can actually do some things to push this to the next leg. And then the other thing that we're trying to do is I just sent some artwork off today, and we're going to open up a merch store and start off kind of small with some t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats. I don't know how many people want to wear Pissin stuff, but it won't be just crypto related. We're trying to make it funny for just about anybody. If you go to our X account, you'll see some of that artwork that I sent off to this guy, and all profits that we generate from that merch store are going to go right into our liquidity pool. And this guy's like a print to order. I don't have to deal with it. I just kind of set up what things we want to sell and help. He'll tweak the artwork. He'll take care of all the shipping and all that stuff, and then he's even into crypto, so he's probably just going to pay me in Solana, and then I can just pump that right back into our liquidity pool and help us out with stabilizing our price there. So I think that's kind of cool. I have no idea how much merch we might sell. I want to start some little stickers too. If you remember, some people in the States, a couple of years ago, you go to the gas station and there was always like a little Joe Biden sticker pointing at the price saying I did that. And this is a little bit more for everybody, and not political, but our little guy just pissing, and people, I could see people putting those on the gas pump too, because we're about to see, that guy right there. So there's our little stickers that we're going to try to get made, and that people can buy from either that same guy that's going to print the shirts, or we'll find some way to link it to our website. But I think that'd be hilarious if you started seeing Pissin stickers in restaurants, or on the toilet, or in bars at the urinal, or on the gas station, gas pumps, because we're about to see some higher gas prices, right? There's some images in there on the shirt, and it's got a whole list of like 30 things that's going to be on the back that it's pissing on, like gas prices, food prices, politics. It doesn't, anything that would relate to anybody. We are down to about 20K market cap, I think I said. When we get to 80K, we're going to pick a random holder and give them one Solana. And you might say, why 80K? Well, 80K is kind of, in my mind, where a safe place is to go and apply for a verification on Jupiter. I was so hell-bent on trying to make this thing legit from the very beginning that I actually went and tried to do that at 8K, and a lot of people still laugh at me about that. but I wanted to prove that I was here for the right reasons, and to get it where you don't have that ugly warning in your Phantom wallets and stuff. So that's our next big goal is to get that. I want to keep pushing this thing, and everybody says to the promised land of Valhalla. Well, I call it Piss Holla, and it's just all about having some fun, right? And we have several team members. Oh, and there was some things right there, like we had things like that at our work and some of the factories, and it is kind of a real thing. You got to know how well you're hydrated, and your piss really does kind of tell you that. That's a serious thing. And so we're talking about maybe getting some water bottles made with those printed on it that people could have. It's still kind of funny, but at the same time, a real thing that you need to worry about, especially in the warmer months. But yeah, when we get to 1 million, and we will get there, I want to get on Moonshot. I've been in so many projects that they were just blowing smoke up our ass about getting on Moonshot, and then you find out they're just going to rug you, or they're farming it, and that's why we're here. But we have several team members. I used to do, when we were trying to get bonded, I would do some live streams off of Pump Fun, and one of the first ones, and some people heard me, and I meant it at the time, and I still mean it, and we're going to do it when we get there. But at 50 million, I think there's 3 or 4 of us now that are going to live stream getting an image of Pissin tattooed on our asses, and we're going to live stream it for everybody. So that, a little incentive. I don't know how many people want to see a bunch of 50-year-olds getting their ass tattooed, but it'll be funny, and we don't have to worry about what it's going to look like when we get older because we're already older. So it's going to look really good up till the point we probably pass away. But yeah, just some things out there. That's probably going to be a hat that you're looking at, or maybe some more stickers. And we are working on a new website that's a little bit more colorful and a little bit, just funner to look at than what I have right now. And we did just get I bought a new domain name. So it's going to, if anybody knows about Salt Life, that's going to be, that one you're looking at there is like the t-shirt. That little guy piss on the moon will be on your chest, a little image, and the rest will be on the back, kind of like a concert shirt, when you go watch a band and they got all their CDs they go to. That's what that one's going to look like. So, I don't even know where I was at, but we're getting tattoos, just having fun. And we got guys, I don't know the people on my team, right? Like it's just people that have heard me talk and want to come in and jive with us and buy some and hold. And heck, I don't care if you buy or not, if you want to come hang out with us. In the TG, we're trying to build community right now. I mean, I think we're probably knocking on the door of some things changing in the crypto space and maybe hopefully we'll get a bull run eventually. But right now is a great time for us to be building. When we have dropbacks, I mean, we were at 40K and now we're at 19 or 20. That kind of sucks. And first thing I do is go, hey, everybody, I'm still here. Don't worry. Nothing's changed. Just keep holding. We'll get there. And it's okay to take profits. I know we've talked about that too, but do it responsibly. These people that I thought I could trust that just shit all over us and kind of went on. That's not the way to do it. Have some respect for everybody because, nobody wants that to happen. And people get nervous in this space. It's very alarming. Somebody said earlier that Pump Fund or Solana, the average hold time is 60 seconds. Well, I'm at like 4,061,000 seconds of holding so far. So I'm like 47 days in on this project. I haven't sold any, and I'm here for the long haul. I tell everybody I'm the captain of the ship. We'll either make it to Pishala or I'll go down with the ship, and you don't have to worry about getting rugged. I'm not going anywhere. And if you ever see Pissin CTO, then please send my wife some flowers because that means I died. Because we're not stopping, and I'm serious about that. And so we try to have fun, but at the same time, I am very serious about the community succeeding, and I wear that stress and burden on my shoulders. I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm letting down when the chart drops. I know I'm not, but that's just a sign of a good leader that you worry about your people. And I look at this like a publicly traded company, right? Everybody that holds the bag is like a shareholder, somebody that bought the stock, and they should have a voice in our meetings and be able to kind of dictate where we go to some extent. And of course, I mean, I'm in charge, but I don't know it all, and I want people to speak up and tell us when they think we're doing something poorly or we need to do something better. And I listen, and if I can afford it, we'll do it. So I know I've been talking forever and we're running late into the show, but that's my thing, and I hope I can come back and we spend a little more time together. I welcome everybody to come over to our TG and hang out. I think they're opening up our VC right after this, and I'll probably head over there and spend some time. I don't know if there'll be many people there. We are still growing, so our TG has days that it's just fire and then days that it's a little dead. But we're trying to just keep building, and we do have some diehard people, and we have a good time. But a lot of great projects in here for you guys that served in the military. Thank you very much. I appreciate your service. I've never been in the military. I got a brother that was, and man, thank you so much for your sacrifice. I think we got a lot of people in this world and in this country that don't understand what y'all have done and what people have done to give us the freedoms we have, and I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart.
No, thank you very much for that. It means a lot, and probably does the same to Hodes and Jordan and anyone else. First and foremost, age doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how old you are. When you come into the space, if anything, it's probably better to be an older person because you've got more kind of values that you follow through life and you gain in life. So yeah, that's totally irrelevant, your age. Second, is that you've already got great connections and you're already located in amongst some of the great people in the space, you know, where they get large numbers of people who tune in. You know, Tasshub, amazing. Kid and Walt, amazing. Ben Billions, another. So you're in good hands. You know, you're in good company. There's also nothing wrong with just being what you are. Is just a meme coin. Not all projects have a utility. What I would kind of recommend doing if you are aiming for a utility is just kind of take a step back and see what's not been done before, because it is almost hard to go into something where there's a large number of people already doing it. But also, if there isn't anything you can't find, don't stress about it. People enjoy the community because they're having a good time. They're enjoying it. Like I said, I've been in your spaces and it's fire. Like I've been in projects before that have a huge following, higher market caps, but they don't get out nowhere near as many people turning out to their X spaces as used to through your community. So I wouldn't worry about that. You're not doing anything wrong. Again, it's the circumstances we're in terms of the space as a whole. And like I say, you're funny. You're actually quite hilarious. But also, like, the meme itself is good. You know, I saw Pippin, and then I saw yours, and I knew exactly what you were doing. You were taking the piss out of it, and I thought that was like literally taking the piss out of it, and it was great. I thought it was a good idea. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, Zach. And like I say, it's a case of just networking, and you know, there's many people in here, you know, who you can rely upon, myself included. You know, if I can help in any way, shape, or form with anybody, I'll do that. And what I want people who are watching the show today is, you know, to go and check out the Pissin Telegram and follow on the X, because you will really enjoy being amongst that community for a fact. And their X spaces, they do quite often, and they're in good company with other great people as well, giving them an opportunity to speak and showcase themselves, which speaks volumes about Zach and his team. You know, to be able to give a platform for others to talk on is really important, because it shows, you know, the character. It's not all about him. He's more about the space as a whole and the networking aspect. But I do feel like we've got that kind of group of people within here. Like, it's almost like it keeps coming around in the conversation, you know, how we can all grow, or what the bad actions are of the majority in the space, and how we're trying to change things, and how we're trying to overcome things together. And like, again, the projects that we try and get in on this show, these are the kind of the people that I bring through here, is the people of that mindset. Like, it's almost like something that I look for, because those people who come on and they're doing X spaces and they're shouting down the mic saying, buy the token, buy the token, buy the token. Like, they've got no intention in remaining faithful with their community at all. That's just for them to get the quick flip and get out, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't believe in being forceful. People will buy if they want to, and if they don't, then so be it. But you've got a solid floor, and the longevity will come when money starts trickling down. So, awesome job, mate, and I really appreciate you coming on. And then hopefully we can get Wes up with you next time. Apologies for the delay in getting you up.
No problem.
We're here about just basically giving everyone an opportunity to speak, and that's the most important thing. And you know, reach out to people on the back end. Yeah,
definitely. Wes, his better half, just got home from work, and he had to run and go eat dinner with her. So he hates that he couldn't be in here, and you know, I'm sure we'll be back, and next time he can speak. You know, he joined us a couple of days after we launched it, and he's like my co-dev. I mean, we try to run it like a CTO, but it'll never be one, right? But it still needs the community. And I apologize to Torque. Torque Mom, I haven't said thank you to you. She is in our TG on a daily basis, and we go into hers, and And I mean, there's too much money in this space to worry about the competition, right? Find good people, even if it's other projects, and team up with them and try to give a more than just one project, but a community of projects that people can get into and sleep on and still be diversified and know that they're in good hands. And so thank you, Torque Mama, for bringing us in here too. And thank you, Shane, for giving us this opportunity. And I'm sorry I missed your messages before. You're an awesome guy, and I appreciate you very much.
No need to apologize at all. And like I say, most people who know me in the space, they know what kind of my goals are. I've always been in the space to achieve, and that was always to bring people together and to be able to cross-pollinate communities. Like for those who don't know, is that maybe 4 years ago, I was part of a project just as a community member. And to be fair, the dev was absolutely useless, like offered no support, didn't even turn out probably a handful of times in the year and a half I was there to the community. He just got left it basically to me. And what I was able to do was to get more partnerships than any other project in the space. Still to this day, it was like over 90 odd projects. But what I was able to do was to cross-pollinate communities amongst pretty much all of them projects, getting everybody to go into each other's telegrams. But also on top of that, I was able to get people to share utilities with each other as well. And it was at that point people changed the mindset of Solana projects only working with Solana projects, ETH only working with ETH. We basically partnered projects from all different chains and actually got them working together. And it was a real big obstacle to overcome, that they were willing to kind of move chains to support. And it was, I never understood it, to be honest with you, but it was that case. Like they just couldn't see how it could happen or why they should do it. But as a collective group of projects, we managed to do it. Obviously, as the numbers got bigger, it was harder to maintain that amount of people following in, but we did it. And we've done it again recently with Beans, in terms of like inviting communities to come over into our Telegram, because Beans was at a 4K market cap for 2 years. But the reason why it was at a 4K market cap for 2 years was purposely done, because while we were building, because what you see here isn't everything at all with Beans, and we will reveal what else is coming like down the line. But this is just one aspect in terms of the radio and the shows, which is actually the really small part of everything. But while we built, we just wanted to see who the true community members were, and we just created a vibe, in the community, and people stayed around. But we wanted to reward them. Like, it was easy to get from a 4K market cap to a 100K market cap and give them gains than it would be to be at a 200K 100K market cap to get to 1 million. You know what I mean? The gains are a lot more. And we're kind of where we are at the moment, but it's because we're not pushing anything and we're not putting any pressure on it. But when we do start doing what we're going to be doing, and it's going to be important to tune in at the end of the month, because we are doing something pretty fresh. Then there'll be news about that, and people will be invited. We'll move again, but we're not in a hurry. And I don't get what the kind of the mindset is in this space as a whole, that everybody wants something immediately. Like, why? We're in my opinion, we're not going up until at least November. Like, that's my personal feeling. Probably like midterm, maybe that's when it's going to start moving. We're just going to be fluctuating, and this is somewhat a bear. So I'm not worried at all. And like I say, this is the time to build and grow as a network. So yeah, we're all here for you, Zach. And like I say to everybody else here, before we end up on Capybara and then close the show, I just want to take this opportunity just to thank everybody for taking the time, being genuine people that you are, giving feedback, and just being genuine good people, because that's what we welcome to the space. This is what we aim to do. And without you guys, it won't be possible. And as we grow and as things move on down the line, we'll be inviting you back at every opportunity to come on the show again and try and grow that visibility, because I haven't done this for 2 years, this show setup, but no one's ever repeated it again since. But it blows my mind because when this kind of gets put into full swing, the amount in visibility in terms of numbers is absolutely ridiculous compared to any other space. You see spaces with thousands of people in it, it's heavily botted. I don't give a shit what anybody says. But where is this is just basically running off the feeds of everybody's socials collectively, and you can't kind of make them kind of numbers up. It's just a collaborative effort of visibility. That's the only difference. So so Billabong, Jay, Talk, Zach, Jordan, Chicken, Mr. Hodes, I really, really thank you. And I just want to say a huge thank you to Franco, our dev, who's kind of taken a back seat today so we could get everybody on, just, putting the visuals up on the back of the show for everybody to see. Really appreciate you, Franco. Thank you for doing that on behalf of myself and everyone else. So before we close the show down, we're going to give it to Talk and Jay to kind of give us the alpha on Capybara one final time, and then end that with what's coming in the short term for the community to be excited about.
These projects are just incredible. I've been listening. I'm sorry if you hear squeaking. I got my dog a toy capybara. Just so you know, that's what's squeaking in the background because I couldn't resist that at the dog store the other day. So he won't leave it alone right now. I just wanted to say that the projects on here are just incredible. Chicken, I checked you out. I checked out Halloween. I just don't want to take this end of the show to be selfish because everything on here is just incredible. Although Capybara is like, we're so chill and vibe. We would love to have all you guys in our TG come check out our project. They said, we hang out with Pissin. They're very familiar with us, our group, our project, our team. We just want to see change in the community like you all do. And we started as a meme coin, then had some ideas to build some utility into it. We're going for the long haul, the longevity. I don't give up. Everybody knows Torque Mama, and I'm putting myself out there. And I want you guys to all know that the project's not going anywhere. We're going to keep building. We're so thankful for the opportunity with Ryft and Shane and what you guys are doing and how incredible that's going to be for all of our smaller communities that are trying to build projects that are struggling, and people aren't seeing the worth of what we're building, but they will. And holding is going to pay off for all of the holders and the communities in these projects right now. Halloween, I love your project. Halloween is near and dear to my heart. It's my favorite holiday. So I'll be checking you guys out too. And I just, again, want to say thank you to every single one of you. And keep your eye out for us. We'll be building and we'll definitely be on the show again with you guys.
No, I really appreciate that, Talk, for keeping it short. Jay, have you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, so it wasn't quite finished earlier, but we do have a new website. We got a .com domain, official capybaracoin.com. And it does have a little bit more insight, sort of like a roadmap per se of the other tools that we're planning to include to make available. It's much along the same lines. It's sort of like a rough sketch of what they are. It doesn't go too much into the technical detail, but it'll give you a good indicator of their value for sure.
No, I really appreciate that. What we'll do is, like I say, next time on the show, when all that, is it already all built and all up and running?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's just see if we can get that. I was going to say, can you post it in the private chat, the link?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can pull it without it killing the stream, but
well, don't worry too much about it. Like I say, we can get it up next time you're on. But like I say, on behalf of like Beans and myself and Franco, we like to say thank you for obviously taking the time and coming on the show. Again, I'll stay in contact, and I'm looking forward to getting involved in your X Spaces. Same with everybody in here. Like Talk mentioned there, like how she would love everybody to join the Telegram. Let's make an effort to do that, but also let's make an effort to get into each other's Telegrams as well, you know, and the group's created on the back end for you all to remain in contact. If you're not in there, for whatever reason, like Jay, I don't think you're in there, but Talk might be, just either send me a message with the handle to add them in, or, you know, you might be able to add them in yourselves. I'll just make you admin. It's not a big thing for me, that. Because, and also I've got a dev group as well with over 100 devs in there, which I can also add you into, so you can network on a bigger scale as well, if need be. So yeah, like I say, it's been a pleasure, guys, and I just want to say thank you one final time. And on that note, we're going to close the space. So take care, and until next time, from Beans and Baloney, peace.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
DGNRadio, trenches on the radio.